Okay, so on to you, Snapdragon. Show us what you got.
Oh my. I see. I'm not a very good builder. I mean, but
Well, walk us through the process that kind of what you did, I guess, when, um,
oh, to make the dragon.
yeah, to make the dragon. Kind of show us, like how do you start? What kind of an approach do you do when trying to do like a statue or a building like that, or a build, excuse me,
Okay.
like that.
Well, what I did, he was actually in three pieces because he's 3 claims long. So I had started him before they put caves in at the beginning of beta because I thought, they're going to wipe everything and then I'll move him to another location where I could sit him up and have him all together. So I had started him in 3 parts. Um, I had the front part, which was his neck and head. I had his center part, which is just basically a ring, a very large ring stacked, just along to like a hot dog. And then the tail end, I didn't start making until after I had put it all together. Um, do you want to go look at him so you we can show
Yeah,
everybody? I don't
yeah.
know if
Let's
everybody's
do
seen
it.
him. Okay, he's in the gallery.
All right.
If you want to teleport to claim, it should be. You can type in Snapdragon. You should be able to find him. And you can either go Lay Long, is what I named him, or the Snapdragon Project, which is the little tower I'm putting on his back. I will teleport to him.
All right. And Twin Dennis, say something in chat for me, please. All right. I am there.
I am almost there. Um, where I had started building him was a mountain in the desert, and I had cut out a big chunk, 1 claim size out of this mountain. And I had started attaching, I guess, to the side of the wall and started building out from there. I started with the ring that his body size was going to be. And I knew I had to taper it and I had to curve it somehow. And I tried all kinds of ways, but the best thing to do is when you're going to do something like that is you need basically to build almost like a skeleton inside of the neck, because if you don't, then you'll find as you're trying to curve it in a certain way, it'll start getting lopsided
I got you.
because it's so big. So what I did was I made using blocks. I don't know if I could try to do it on the side of the mountain. I basically made like a spine using blocks and curved it around the way I wanted his neck to curve, the actual shape. Let me see if I can find enough room to make a smaller version of it. Because it might be difficult to try to explain. a spine, and then I used the line tool and basically made, let's see, see if I can make a smaller version of it. I'll just make a small section of the neck. Alright, so it was something like this. It was the spine. Then I had to come out to the side and either side. Kind of the size that I wanted it, how thick I wanted it to be. So the part down here would be really wide, and I wanted it to get thinner and thinner as it went up. So I measured out how wide I wanted it to be. I'm trying to do this quickly, but it took me 3 days to do the neck.
I can imagine.
And I had to do width-wise. Of course, goes to all 4 directions. I did it without doing this the first time, and it kind of got like squashed on one side, and it was going all crooked. And see, I'd never done anything like this before, so I just kind of had to do trial and error until I got it to work out. Okay, so that kind of makes like a frame. And then you take the line tool, and I would connect these. To kind of fill it in a little bit.
This is kind of the same approach as what Spider Kite did when he was working on the Colossus. I mean, he basically built like a wire frame, I guess you could say, to mold out sort of, the design of what he was trying to do.
I went over there and I saw that and I was like, oh, he's doing the same thing I did. I must have done it right. But then once you get, you get the curve you want and you fill it out enough, the lines, then you can start adding your circles on. Now, this is different than doing terraforming, because terraforming, you kind of want hard edges, so you can use squares. But up this, since it's an animal, he's going to have muscle and, you want it to be smooth. And this is kind of really badly done, but you just stack them up. I'm doing this kind of fast too. And then you just smooth it. And you smooth, and you smooth, and you smooth, and you stack some more on, and then you smooth some more, stack some more on, until you get the shape that you want.
Okay.
And I spent, it was the Dragon like it was, and you have to turn your camera from one side to the other as you're looking over each edge to make sure that there's no huge bumps or anything. Because, I don't know if you've really looked at the Dragon. He's pretty smooth up there.
Oh yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. See, I've always had a problem when I'm working with the round tool, and maybe it's just me because I don't move my camera around a lot when I'm trying to build up an area like this, and it's one of those things where how can I say this? I'll sit here and I'll start trying to put down circles or whatever, and I always end up putting a circle on top of a circle, and I don't see it. And then when I move my camera around, it's like I have these huge bulges that come out because I'm not paying attention, and that's why I'm not a big fan of the round tool, and that's why I suck at doing a lot of this kind of stuff, and why I usually work with squares instead of circles. But that's
yeah, like,
that's kind of my approach, I guess. But
well, when I'm doing terraforming, when I'm doing stuff that has to do with the ground, I use squares. But for me, to do an animal, that's going to have muscle and soft tissue. The circle just is smooth. It's just seems more like muscle than the hard squared block. But you do have to turn your camera. Like when I was doing this, you see how high the neck is, right? It's like one claim high. And I did it while I was hanging off the side of the neck. Like this the whole time. And you just have to rotate your camera around, and you get to the habit of doing it. While you're smoothing, you rotate. Then you move over a little, and then you smooth a little more, and you rotate. And you're just constantly moving the camera to make sure that you're getting it smooth. And sometimes I would have to use the delete tool to maybe chop out a little bit that didn't have once I got a large, like the whole neck filled in, if I didn't have that bright curve that I wanted, then I would maybe cut a little bit out, smooth a little bit more. I'm still working on the tail. We can go look at it if you want to.
okay, let's do it.
Guys, I'm gonna leave. My husband just got home, so.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds so sad,
Oh.
All right. See you, Kelly.
Right.
User disconnected from your channel.
This was the original pattern that I had as the stone, and I moved him here, so he had to be ice once I moved him here.
It looks like he's shedding.
Yeah, he's half covered because it does take a lot to paint. He's quite huge, so I paint him, and I have to go and find some more and paint him. It just takes a long time to do it, and I'm still working on his tail. You can see there's I haven't quite gotten it like I want. There's like part of his tail down there is a little bulgier than it should be. I haven't quite got the shape just right.
Now, on the end of his tail, are you going to give him one of those oriental tails where it flares out?
Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to do. He's supposed to have a mane, more of more hair. It's really difficult to make that though with voxels. I've tried to do some, but I'm gonna try to give it more hair and mane, like a big poofy tail in the end, or a big flare of some kind. to get him finished. I've been working on him since the beginning of beta. I just keep helping everybody else with their claims, and I can't get it finished.
Now, I got somebody asking, how did you make the skin and stuff, and so here in a second I'm gonna select your textures here so they can see the actual textures you used. And
Okay.
so give me a second here.
Want me to give you permissions?
I'm good. I can select the textures here. I just can't do the building, so I'm good. Like this back section is granite roof tile, and over here for the ice, it is ice
Yeah.
roof tile. And that was
Yeah, these textures are
for
really nice.
Princess Astria. Yeah, it's one of those textures that a lot of people don't use, and it's because if you try to actually build a house and use these tiles, they don't look like tiles.
Yeah.
And
So, like, one side of the roof will look good, it'll be hanging the right way, and you do it the other way, and it's like just going the wrong direction.
exactly.
But it works out for him. But if you see, there's like lumps here, like right in here, up in here. See, it's not done. I'm basically trying to get the shape, and it's just not like there's a lump. I don't like this right here. I'm gonna fix this.
Well, it's definitely going to get harder the thinner this comes out to get it right.
Oh yeah.
So, I can, yeah.
I think pretty much this is as small as I'm going to go with it. I think it just wouldn't look, and it's not going to look right if I go too small. Is because you got to think, there's going to have to be bones in there, and so it's just not. It's going to look funny if I go too small.
Well, if you come out with that, the feathery, like pattern coming out from the tail itself, you won't have to get really thin with that tip, I don't think. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just
this.
got to look at some more drawings.
But I still love this dragon just because it's not one of those dragons you see in this game so far. I mean, most people have stuck to the westernized version of a dragon. The really big head and all that kind of stuff, right? And she has got literally an oriental dragon, which is like totally different than most that you see out there. And I'm trying to get up here to the head so you can actually see this here. And I think you did a pretty good job using the roots. I think the roots would be perfect for your main.
I know, I was looking at them, they do add a lot to it, and, I don't know if I want to just use it plain, with just roots. I think it would work.
I still find it's pretty awesome looking to me. I'm pretty sure quite a few people in the channel probably think so the same way I do about this. I mean, just a totally different type of a dragon than what we've seen in the past so far from most people. Just seeing something different always coming out from this game is one of the really awesome things about the game. And I feel guilty even saying that this is a game because to me it's more of a way to express yourself than what a game is, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd have to say I consider it a whole new medium.
Exactly. I mean, because I don't think any other game out there has gotten to this type levels.
Yeah, because usually when you play a game, there's certain set rules that you have to follow. Everybody's going to do the same thing. But here, it's you make it what you want it to be, and there is no right or wrong. You know, everyone does what they want, and it's all good. And
Yeah.
you know, it's. I'm glad you like it because I just started building it because I had to build it. I don't know. I wanted a tower or a building of some kind that was up in the air. I didn't want it on an island, and I was logging into J Dynasty one day, and I was going to play for a while, and the login screen was an Oriental dragon with some kind of weird, looked like a weapon of some kind on his back, and I was like, that's it, I'm building that.
It was that the PlayStation 2 version, J Dynasty?
No, it was on PC. But I don't know why I thought that because I had only been in the game like a week, and I had built like this little square building out in the desert that looked like some Adobe looking thing, and I don't know why I thought I could build a dragon, you know, but I just started building it. And it actually, you know, at first I was like, well, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good at all. And then the more people that come by and see it and say they like it, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm all right then. If people like it, I like it, then it's okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of the different. I know there's the MMO that was a really big MMO,
Yeah.
but wasn't there a PS2 version of J Dynasty? It was a different game. It was like a crap. I played it when I was over in Iraq. It was Jade something. I had to dig up through my crap to find it, but that was like an Oriental type based game.
J Dynasty?
J Dynasty, it was the Perfect World Entertainment.
Okay, I
That
got
J
you.
Dynasty. Yeah, it's an older game and there's a lot to it, but I was trying it out again. I played Perfect World was like my first MMO, and then I beta tested J Dynasty and
It was.
Saga and all those, and
I was thinking of Jade Empire. Vectors had it right,
yeah.
exactly on what I was thinking of. It was Jade Empire, and if you've ever played that game, that was really good too because it had some gorgeous work in that game for a PlayStation game at least. And I played that when I was over in Iraq, and I was thinking of that for some reason.
well, it was the artwork in J Dynasty was real simple. I took some pictures while I was in there and walking around. I'm like, I could build this stuff in Landmark because it wasn't really very intricate, but it did what it needed to.
The one thing, another game that I thought was really awesome for a game to take ideas from. Crap, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. Give me a second. There's another really good game to pull ideas from.
Well, I get ideas also from like Google pictures. If you like sci-fi, look at sci-fi art, fantasy art. You go to
Man, I'm pulling a blank. I mean, every time I want to think of a game, I hate that.
Movies are also movies and TV or even music can be good inspiration. I think that you
Yeah.
can find a good like soundtrack that really fits the mood of what you want to build and kind of help keep you in that focus.
That's true. And you can build, if you don't want to build anything too elaborate, you can just go on Google and look for house plans. You know, small house plans or eco-friendly house plans or, you know, whatever, future house plans. And you can just build it from a picture if you're not someone that, because sometimes like if you see a fantasy picture, you might not be able to see all the sides of it, and you might have a hard time trying to see in how this would be built. But like going to like a house plan, it's got all the walls, it shows you the front and the back, and it's a lot easier for someone just starting out to be able to build.
Definitely.
That's a great idea.
I had it on my computer, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was the one where you could choose whether you want to be good or bad, and
Oh, was it black and white?
no, it was a Microsoft game, Microsoft Studios game. I had it on my computer, and I took it off. Now I don't think I can find it. Let me see if I got it in my games section in my Windows here. And all right, I had it in,
Familiar.
and I'm not seeing it in my list here. Crap. Oh my gosh. It was like, damn it. Every time I want to, there's something I want to remember. I just can't remember it.
Try to describe it, because I played it. It's like a first person game, right? Like a single player game, right?
Yeah, it was like a third person. I mean, you were like looking over your character type deal. And I'm trying to think of all the stuff that you could do in there. You had like crafting or buying stuff, but you had like your path. And you'd always end up returning to the path, and you'd open up chests on either side of the path as you were going along. But it was like you were in like all the Fable. That was it. Fable 3, I believe.
Okay.
Fable 2 or Fable 3, I don't remember. But if you ever play that game again, if you have that game, go back into that game and look at the buildings. Or go online to Google and actually look up pictures of Fable or gameplay in Fable. Some of that artwork that they did in that game, I was shocked when I brought that game back out and started playing it again. I was like, man, I can build that.
Yeah. I get that sometimes. It's like you start seeing things, pictures and the buildings, even like everyday buildings, you start thinking, I can build that.
Yeah, and you see, I gotten into the little sculpturing stuff myself here recently, and because we got into the Karen stuff, and I got a wild hair on Friday, or yesterday, excuse me, to take my old Karen head that we used on the Mega Claim that we ended up turning into an arena. I took that Karen head and I tried to do some updating to the concept art that they brung out to us. And it actually started turning out really freaking good. And I was like amazed even myself.
Good.
And, my approach is a little differently than what other people's are, because I literally put little pieces at a time to do my building stuff. And a lot of other people, they use squares. Other people use circles. Me, I used a selection tool and the fill, and hit it with the add tool to
Yeah.
fill up little areas. So I do it a lot differently than what other people do. Yeah, 6 hours of sculpting last night, and time went by so freaking fast that I was like, I couldn't believe how fast it went.
Yeah, once you get started doing it, you get in like this zone, and you just keep doing it and doing it and filling it in. And like the head, I sculpted the dragon head first because I told myself if I can't get the dragon head right the way I want it, then I'm just not going to do it at all. Because I didn't want it to look bad.
So you tackled the hardest thing first,
Yeah.
just to make sure that's worth refining.
Yeah, because that was going to be the main thing that everybody always climbs up here on top of the dragon head. So I was like, if I can't get that right, then there's no use in me doing it. I can do the rest if I can get the head right. And so, you're doing your caring. And plus that's the part that everyone always looks at. They always look at the face first of the sculpture to, see if it looks believable. So if you can pull that off, then the rest of it.
Yeah, the body is going to be, the body and the arms are going to be the single hardest thing when it comes to that build, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
The head, I already had pretty much all the head done. It was just a matter of doing some modifications to it. And normally the head would be the hardest, but to me, I think that the arms and the chest are going to be probably the hardest thing for what I'm trying to do. And I'm still up in the air if I want to do a full-blown Colossus like the Dark Elf one that Spider Kite's doing. So I'm still kind of up in the air if I want to do that or not.
The larger the sculpture is, actually the easier it is in a way. You can get more fine detail, but you have to really be careful with your proportions. If you look at the picture that they gave us, and make sure you notice that the legs, how the thighs are longer than the bottom part of the legs, the calves are longer than the arms, how long the arms are, how wide the shoulders are, compared to the waist. And if you can get the proportions right like that, then even if it's not exact, if it's close, then most people, it'll look good.
Oh yeah. But I appreciate you showing your way of tackling this kind of an issue, because different people want to do different things in the game, and I definitely want to see different approaches from different people, and building the framework and working with the circles and doing the smoothing it down to build up these these massive pieces and trying to get them to look the way we want to. It's going to help me when I go to do mine, because I honestly have no clue, and I'm basically going to wing it.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I did.
but it's one of those things where I'd like to know an approach or two, so I can be able to tackle things from different perspectives on this.
Yeah. You're definitely going to need a lot of materials, a lot of stone, and like I said, you make you a skeleton, like a stick figure first, and to kind of build you up a skeleton, and then you put the skin and the muscles on top of that.